I'm building out our workshop, and more specifically, right now, I'm building a shelf. I picked up some of these 5/8 inch trim boards that are pre-finished on one side, and I'm going to build a little shelf out of them, and then I'll give you guys an update of how the workshop is coming along, and we'll take it from there. That was annoying. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put some grooves in these. The shelf is built, and this is where I'm going to be putting it, so let's get it in here.
Like the wood and that shelf there with the wood.
I just force things to happen.
Sounds like you're calling for turkeys.
We got it in there and secured to the wall. I used some little metal brackets that I had. I think everything looks good. I'm happy with it. I actually made this shelf just mostly for my jars. I have a lot of little glass jars full of odds and ends. So I'm going to get those all filled up. Empty.
This is a extra size thing. You know?
Yeah, if I can ever figure out a way to get the labels off, I will
gladly do that.
What is that? Mineral spirits? Probably.
On the shelves. Right next to you. Jar here with no lid.
What is in here? Pepper seeds? So we're definitely making good progress on the workshop makeover, and that shelf is perfect. I'm so happy with how it came out. And as you can see, we're filling it up with jars and spray paint, and that's what I designed it for, with these jars in mind. And those are just jars I've been saving that I like to put my hardware in. So we have a lot of hardware jars, and then we have excess of spray paint that we have to start using and finding projects to use on because we have too much. Now, I haven't done much with the hutch yet, so we're not going to look at that today. It's still just the way we left it. I threw a couple tools in there just to get them out of my way. By making that shelf for those jars, I was able to get them off of this shelf, and now I have a lot more room to put some of the bulkier things up there, and that's what I'm doing right now, is just going through things, organizing. We have so many little things to sort out that it's really time consuming. This is not a fast job. This is one by one, little tiny, where does this go? Where does that go? Now I wanted to show you guys down here what I did. This is a really cool addition. This is my scrap wood pile. It's not perfect, but it's an answer to all the wood I've had laying all over the place. It's all in one spot. I can see what I have, and now I can use it easier in my projects. Now this was kind of a cool little project because what I had here was the wheel well for the trailer. So it was kind of an awkward space of floor that I couldn't put many things here. I couldn't put tools here because it pushes them away from the wall too far. So I was trying to find a way to use that wheel well. And we had these desks. This right here is a desk. It was actually the desks that came out of our bedroom. If you watched our bedroom videos, you might remember us putting these in. Well, months ago we got rid of them because we got sick of them, and we totally changed the way we did our desks in the bedroom. Maybe we'll do a tour of that sometime, but not right now. And so I've had these desks sitting around, and they've just been taking up space in here. And I finally found a use for them. What I did was I had to cut them down a little bit shorter because they were a little too deep for what I wanted. And then I built a base for them to hold them off the floor. So obviously the desk legs and stuff are taken off. I just took advantage of the drawers from the desk, and I put, basically they're flush with the wheel well, and then I capped it with a piece of plywood right over the whole top, and I created this low table. The table hides the wheel well, and now we have drawers that I'm storing like all my miscellaneous hardware in, and that is so much nicer than totes. I've had so many like just totes and containers of extra screws and bits and pieces that you just throw in, and now they're all in one place and they're easy to just close it up and put them away. And since we had two desks, I was able to do this the full 6 feet of the wheel well, and I I threw some hole saws in here and drill bits. Now that might not be the permanent wood spot, but it's actually a really good spot for it. It's basically a low counter that I can pile all the little bits and pieces on, so it works for me. And by raising those little desk pieces up, the drawer units, up off the floor a little bit to the top of the wheel well, I was able to create storage space underneath both those desks. I'm going to use that for wire storage, so I can slide spools of wire, cable, Romex, just slide those under there, get them out of the way. So I made a lot of space there. And you'll see that I also moved my router tables down. The router tables, they were in front of the wheel wells, so it was really tight. They were narrow because they had to sit in front of the wheel wells. So they were back here and close together and really squeezed the space. So we slid them down to the end of the trailer here, so they can sit against the wall just past the wheel well. So much nicer. Look how open this is. Lots of room to walk. I also cleaned out underneath, and I used some plywood to create a little shelf here. And it's just sitting there. So that's what it used to look like. It's just a frame. Got some plywood on there. Now we can store these totes that I already had. These are my pocket hole hardware, stuff like that. And that turned out really good because I was able to use both router tables as storage. So now I got 6 totes under each one. I put the most used totes on the top shelf, and I put the less used stuff that I just want stored away underneath. And I can slide those out easily. It still looks a bit messy, but we're definitely making huge progress. We've been throwing out stuff, going through the stuff, putting stuff where it properly belongs. So that's where we're at right now. I don't think there's any other big upgrades. The vacuum ducting is all wrong now for this layout, so ignore the PVC pipes. They'll be rearranged. If there is any vacuum hose going down over the worktop, it'll be right in the middle, just one of them. We don't need 3 of them over there. So we'll be cleaning that up, reworking all that ducting. We got to rework all the electrical, moving the electric panel down this end. I'm pretty sure I'm going to put the electric panel right here on this wall next to the vacuum. That frees up a lot of space in the front end of the trailer, where now I have a large open area. Well, it's not yet. I'm working on it. And that's where I'm going to put the table saw when we roll that in here, because you know our table saw is on a portable base. I'm also thinking about buying a portable base for the chop saw instead of having it in here, because like miter saws, chop saws, they are messy. And even if you hook a vacuum to them, they just tend to make mess everywhere. And I'm trying to keep less sawdust all over everything. So I'm thinking about getting one of those rolling carts like I used to have, put a miter saw on it, and then we can just roll it outside when we want to use it. I'll probably park both the table saw and the miter saw up in the front. And my goal is clean countertop, open floor, room to work, room to walk. It will get done, but it's taken us some time. We've spent probably, what, 3 days on this already? Mm-hmm. Is this the 3rd day?
Yeah.
There's a lot to go through. I have totes here. Right here? Just full of stuff that we piled in to get out of the way that we have to go through. And you have to find homes for each piece. You say, okay, copper flashing. Where does this go? Guys, this is a slow process, but it has to be done. Well, it's the next day and I'm still cleaning. It is getting a lot better though. I can see the floor. Everything's tidying up nicely. I was testing out DeWalt versus Craftsman blowers. Guys, I couldn't help myself. I wanted to see how much more powerful the Craftsman is. And I'll tell you what, it is a lot more powerful than this. It blows very well. But I'm going to return it. We're going to keep the Craftsman. Because the DeWalt blower, while it is more powerful, it is louder. It has a high-pitched sound. It's a sound that's very annoying and hard on the ears. It just pierces me. We can't listen to that. This one's soft. And this is heavier, this is lighter. So, you know, this one tires your hand out a lot more when you're using it. We just need something light, easy, quiet that we can do some quick blowouts. blow out the bus, blow out the workshop, blow out the countertop. We don't need to make it a big ordeal, so I'm returning this one. And I'm glad I got that out of my system. Now I know, and I can feel better about it. Also, just got this in the mail. We got a new wood rack. This wood rack right here has been great for me. I just love it. I stayed away from these for a long time because they just looked cheap to me when I saw them on Amazon, but they actually work. So I got another one because, as you can see, we have an abundance of lumber and supplies, and I just think it's gonna help. So I wanted to make a mini rack. The other benefit of putting it right here is every once in a while I have super long boards and I can actually level this up even with the other one. And then like on like say the top shelves, I could span some 12 footers up here without them sagging. So that'll be nice. That being said, I think it's time that I finally take down this vacuum system. Luckily, I used these really cool little hangers that you can unclip easily. Ah! I forgot I had a piece of wood up here. Wow! I'm doing this all wrong. I literally just broke off the T-fitting. Can you imagine? I'm gonna have to ask for some help, I think, to lift this out of here just because it's so awkward. So now that all that's out of the way, I'm getting ready to install my wood rack, and I'm starting by just installing some wood strips on the wall. I'm trying to fasten these into the metal framing of the trailer to give it extra support, but they're mostly there to just space the rack away from the wall because we have these trim boards and stuff, so I just need it out. Put that one on wrong. There. I think I got those all right. I'm going to leave off the top. There's actually one more thing for the top here, but because I'm putting it so high and close to the ceiling, there's no point in adding it in there, and it would hit the ceiling trim anyway, the way these stick out the back. So that's why I'm leaving that off, and I think I'm ready to install it. I'm using cabinet screws, which look really thin, but if they can hold a cabinet full of dishes. All right, expanded our wood rack. This is looking good. It looked better if I painted these, but we're not gonna worry about it. I know I already have a lot of wood storage down on this table I made, but some of it will go up here, some of it will stay down. But this is still, we still got more wood all over the property that we need room for. So I'm gonna organize this rack and then I'll be back. Well, I got it all set up. It's pretty full, little bit of room for expansion. I know I'm gonna have more cutoffs that have to go up here. But what I did was take a lot of this wood from down here, put it up on top, so that I was able to bring in these couple of milk crates full of cutoffs and put them here. And it might be hard to see, but I was able to get a whole stack of wood up here that was 12 foot long that's been sitting on our front porch. I was able to get that cleaned back off again. So now they span all the way and I have a place to put them. I'm so happy to finally have a place for long boards. And now this might seem like a lot of working and reworking, and that's true because that's how I work through the process. I got to see how things feel and flow, and then I go from there. And sometimes I have to change things around, and that's okay. As long as I get things out of my way while I'm taking care of the other things, that's all that matters. So I'll move it. I stacked all the wood down here. It was out of my way, and I got a lot more work done until this came. So this is coming out pretty good. There's a lot of wood in here, and I hope I can make use of all of it. We have quite a few projects planned and things to do, so I'm sure it'll get used up. And that's the hope, is that as I use up materials and as we run out of jobs, I can kind of downsize some of the storage and make this place even more organized. For example, I'm slowly getting this countertop cleaned back off, and you can see I have a whole row of boxes here, and ideally I would love this whole countertop cleared completely off. But for now, I gotta keep these boxes here because I'm organizing things into them. I have no place else to put them right now. So maybe as we whittle down things, maybe I'll get rid of some spray paint and we can get rid of this other shelf that I put over there and build some kind of other storage over there. As we get rid of some boxes of materials, as we build out things, we can have room for new stuff. It's definitely a work in progress, but I'm thrilled with it. You guys, the space in here is incredible, and honestly, it's the best it's ever looked. This place is looking sharp. I'm really liking it. It's almost my perfect workshop. You know, I've been planning a workshop for a while, thinking about it in the back of my mind, and if I was going to build one, it would look like this. I literally only want it about this wide. This is 8 feet wide, I believe. Yep, 8 feet. It's honestly perfect for me. I would have no problem building an 8 foot wide building, and that's why I might even end up keeping this. I like the coziness of it, and I like being forced to kind of work in a small space and stay organized. And the wider you make the building, it's just more floor space, but I don't need a lot of floor space. I like galleys like this. It's just my favorite work style. So I'm happy with this size. The only thing I wish is that the ceiling was taller, and for an enclosed trailer, this is huge. We got the extra high ceiling. So it's definitely doable. The only problem is I can't stand up 8 foot pieces of wood, so I can't bring a board in here and flip it around without hitting the ceiling. If I was building like the dream workshop, I would probably put like 10 foot ceilings in so you could just swing wood around, stack things up. It would be so much better. So basically a long, skinny building. The length, I'm fine with this length. I wouldn't mind adding a few more feet. It's always handy, but this is working for me so far. I brought my bike in here. This is one of my bikes, and I don't have a bike shed. Eventually we're going to get a bike shed that we're going to put all of our outdoor stuff in, and that won't be in here. I got to still bring my miter saw in here. I still got to bring in some odds and ends off the back porch, some tools. We still got to organize our tool hutch that we installed. The reason I'm not doing that is I'm waiting for some stuff I ordered. We're going to be putting some wooden shelves in there instead of glass. And then I got some things to help me organize. The end of the workshop still needs work. This is the stuff that I'm just not sure what to do with right now. We got some video lights, some just miscellaneous stuff, like I have a bus seat, odds and ends. I got to find a home for it, and it's probably not the workshop, but for now I'll just leave it down here. Ideally, we're going to keep the miter saw and table saw here. I think I said that. And I got to get these organized. They're a little bit messy. I can make better use of these shelves, and I will be doing that as I go through things. And I'm not in a rush to do that, so I'm just going to take my time with this stuff whenever I have time. I think I'm done working for today, though. I mean, we got a lot done. It's looking good. And some of this stuff, like all this conduit, outlet stuff, there's stuff piled up here. It's going to go right back on the walls because I have to rewire this place. So I'm not going to put those away too far. We still have to use them. So I'm going to work on the wiring soon. Yep, definitely a lot to think about and plan, and that's what I'm going to be working on. Now, we might take a break from this because I'm happy where we're at right now. This is a really good point. So I might get some other jobs done that we need to keep working on. We'll see. We'll take each day as it comes, but I guess that's all we have for now. So thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.